As we fly through space on this 13th episode of Commander's Log. Can you believe we made 13 of these? Thank you so much for being part of the live show extravaganza. This is USS Postshow, and we're flying through the space, covering you all the Discovery happenings. Thank you so much for listening and watching live on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, and Twitch. And who am I? Well, I'm the cheapest number one in the galaxy, Flobo Boyce, the head communications officer of the USS Postshow. But I am not alone. You see, I'm being joined, as always, by my captain, John Weber, and a very special guest. She is known as the Admiral Ambassador, Leslie Upson. And together, they are cooler than warp speed space scenes in space. Give it up for the captain and Admiral Ambassador. How you guys doing?
What's up, brother?
Live long and prosper.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us aboard, man.
No, man, it's your ship, sir. You know, I'm just
Well, you know, I'm usually taking anger naps, and Flobo's usually running everything. So, honestly, I feel like I need permission to come through most of these bulkheads.
Right. Well, Captain, can you, if you would like to divulge, like, why do you have a special guest on this special episode with us today?
Well, it's interesting. First off, Leslie and I started doing comedy together. You probably don't want me to mention the year.
No, we don't need to talk about the year.
We don't talk about the year.
It was probably 2020. That year was so long,
Yeah.
like 30 years within that year. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
Let's just say Star Trek The Next Generation was very popular at the time.
Okay, so we're talking about the year.
And,
Yeah, that was definitely last year for me. That's when I watched it.
Yeah, that's right.
and also, Les and I were discussing what rank she should be.
Yeah.
You know, you've made me the captain, and I'm forever grateful for that. You're the best first officer in the whole damn fleet. Everyone knows that. Les wanted to be, she figured that she should be one of the more, I don't want to use the word irritating.
Well, you know, I just thought I should either be an admiral or an ambassador, because they always come on the ship and are always like, I have to take over and not be competent. So that's generally where I come in. It's just
stirring
like,
up the waist.
Yeah, it's just like, no, I'm going to take the bridge now, and I don't know how to do it.
What's going on, Commander Data? So,
welcome aboard, then.
Yeah,
of fear.
welcome our Admiral
I
Ambassador
know.
aboard.
I'm high status with no competence.
I love it.
That's not true.
So glad
But
you're
one of
there. I really am.
One of the reasons I wanted Les on the show was I am always such a blind lover of Discovery. Discovery just makes me so happy, and I almost never, I never hold its feet to the fire. And Les
That's our
is,
budget, guys.
Yeah.
she's a little more no BS when it comes to this sort of thing. So, you know, she's going to help us sum up season 3. And it might not be as sunny and as lollipops and puppies as I make it out to be, because I have to admit there are some things that bother me about the show. And Les will give me a lot of permission to finally discuss that as well.
Well, that's good to hear, because usually I don't hear that, because it is me who's always in there going, well, really, you know, should Burnham cry as much as she does? And because I know that's one of his things. It's like, no, it's good to show emotion.
It's good to show emotion.
She's been through some stuff, y'all. No.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that's John's thing. It's like, I think it should be there. And I'm like, really? Every episode, multiple times? Honestly.
It's an emotional show. We've talked about every episode has a moment where I cry.
Well,
so
yeah,
that works for me.
And I'm not immune to that either. It's just, seriously. I mean, there has been criticisms. I know a lot of groups are talking about that Burnham cries too much. And I say that's not invalid. You know, I think she does.
You know, let's get right into it then. Forget the episode. Let's talk about the season overall. 13 episodes, literally the shortest season by a couple episodes ever for this show, but it was kind of a soft reboot, it being flung far into the future. There was an overarching mystery, so a lot of things played to the formula. A lot of the number one got scenes. Very, very Discovery. I'm not sure it was very Star Trek. That's up for debate, but very, very Discovery. But your overall thoughts of season 3 in this show, in this universe?
So wait, are you saying that you don't think it's very Star Trek?
No, I'm saying it's very Discovery. Some people may say it's not Star Trek. I disagree, or else I wouldn't do this very recap show.
Yeah.
That's
But
true.
you can say inside the world of Discovery that it plays to the Discovery formula. I think it's Star Trek, but it plays to the formula. But just your overall thoughts about this show.
Oh, well, okay. I think that actually, I think the thing I really love about it and that I love about Discovery is that it's not traditional Star Trek television, and that's why I think it's a great show. They are not staying within the rules, and because they're doing that and instead trying to make a great show, they make a great show. So what I love about each season is that they create a storyline and they kind of end it and they kind of move forward at the end of each season. Yeah. And so to me, that's great storytelling. And what makes a good show overall is great storytelling. Absolutely. Not just great actors or whatever. It's all about story. And I think they tell great stories. So for me, this is a really interesting season. I like their story, though I'm not sure I like the resolution of the burn, which destroyed the universe, is created by a temper tantrum. Well, that's kind very minimizing the death of a mother. Very much. But I mean, seriously, it's like,
get over it. Yeah.
Like I said, total wet blanket. But I mean, still, it was just like a giant cry in the universe, destroyed the lithium or destroyed the warp drive, and that's just kind of really.
And yet,
your point, Captain.
Well, this is so consistent with the show, even with talking about Burnham's crying so much. This is a very emotional show.
Oh, well, that's a good point.
I would never watch Voyager and go, wow, the emotions drive this show. Or Enterprise, the emotions drive this show.
You watch Voyager, full stop, sir.
Well,
you skipped
I always think of Voyager as it did its job. It showed up. It had all the things that you have in a Trek, and yet why did it come up so short?
Right.
So Voyager is always a great example for me of that's classic Trek, but there was something hollow. There was something missing about it.
Right.
And still a lot of people love it. It's legit Trek. A lot of people do. A lot of Trek fans love it.
Oh, God.
And everybody has their favorites and their least favorites. And we tend to agree that our favorite was Deep Space Nine. A lot of years put into that show, and it really paid off.
Although Discovery gives it a run for its money.
Discovery definitely gives it a run for its money.
Yeah.
Very, very high.
Let me understand this correctly, because I am at the end of season 3 of DS9, and I'm struggling, man. I'm struggling there.
It's like hard.
It better get good, bro. But it's interesting that you guys, even with flaws and all, you have Discovery as like one of your top series.
Oh, for me, yeah. I mean, I really love the original series, but I'm not sure it holds up. I think I like it more for nostalgia than anything else. But the one that I think is, how many seasons is Deep Space Nine?
Did they go to 7?
7.
Okay. Well, Deep Space Nine doesn't get good until it's like really the last 3 or 4 seasons. That's when it's an astonishing series, where it's a great series. The first couple of seasons are typical Trek.
You're doing God's work, Flobo.
You're really sticking in there. But the end, certainly the last 3 seasons are amazing. They are operatic. They are, they're the beginning. Did you see Battlestar Galactica?
I saw the reboot, not the original.
That's what I mean. Yeah, the reboot. Yeah. It's like that. It's
okay.
It's kind of an earlier version. Yeah, it's huge and expansive and kind of political, but also social. It's amazing, and it was especially for its time. It was not the kind of thing Trek was doing, So it was super cool, but towards the end.
The part you haven't seen, bro. Like, you can imagine shows that today. Like by season 4, it'd be great.
It gets better, but not right now. Yeah, those early seasons are not great.
Going through all early seasons, except for Discovery, are difficult. I would even say so with Picard, a show I like.
Yeah, which I don't.
But that first season, if
For
we
the
can
record,
get...
it was very middling for me. I didn't love it or hate it. It was kind of like, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw her. She was great.
Yeah, there's stuff in it that I like, but a lot of it is just like, ugh, I can live without this.
If we can get 3 or 4 seasons of Picard, that first season is not going to be regarded the best season.
Yeah.
That's just, just how
Picard's
it
a
works.
robot now, so we're getting 200 of them. So.
Yeah.
Well, that's not what I want.
Oh, yay.
That's the craziest resolution I've ever seen. We'd given you an artificial body, but we decided to make it also 80 years old and probably going to die any moment now.
Yeah, I
so,
know.
hooray!
The galactic HMOs, man. I'm telling you, how healthcare in the future sucks. But let's talk about this, man. The burn, right? We got a resolution. We know what it was.
Yeah.
We alluded to it before. I was concerned going into this episode because if it was Su'Kal necessarily, it wasn't a villain we could actually defeat. You can't punch him in the face. Well, you could.
Yeah, right.
Right.
But here you have this issue where they're basically doing almost a re-first contact for Su'Kal, treating him as if he was like a pre-warp civilization, which I guess in a way he kind of was. He was stuck on this planet forever. I know they put themselves in a corner where there would be no solution that would be 100%, but given the tools they had, how did it land for you guys?
I didn't hate it. I can't be super positive about it because one of the things that it presented was a very old Star Trek trope of the child with immense powers that he can't control.
But also the Star Trek trope of the child who is raised without real sentient contact and how they're all crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we've learned. Like Charlie's crazy.
Right, Charlie X from original series.
What's his name?
Trelane from original series. Q was one of these, me know no human ways. Me am interested because of you. Like this weird sort of, this whole concept that a child can grow up in a vacuum and he'll be crazy and like, lethal, like crazy. But again, this is Discovery, so he's not lethal. He's just very emotionally fragile. That's very Discovery.
Aren't we all, man?
It presents our challenge, which is a very Star Trek challenge, and that is, how do I communicate something without ruining the communication? How do I change his whole paradigm of how he sees life, because he lives in a hologram, and how do I get him to accept the one thing he doesn't want to accept, which is reality?
Right.
And then we do find out how harsh that reality was for him when he was an itty-bitty little guy, little Su'Kal.
Right.
And it is rough, and it is emotionally challenging, and very Discovery.
To make you say his environment, Klober says that he is a polyploid, which is genes affected by environment, which, again, it does answer a lot, but I could just imagine, had a Discovery not shown up, if they didn't show up in the future, we just would have shrugged it off and was like, I don't know, aliens or what have you. And I wonder, I guess it's for the greater good, right? This is what Discovery is. They show they can help in the future. But I wonder, perhaps ironically, because this mystery is so large, their actual help was so small, and that it protected one soul, or they found this one soul on this planet.
Well, there you go. That's very Star Trek,
Fair.
And this as a writer, Flobo, it's very tough to maintain that balance of, I want to create a big giant universe. So let's talk about Green Lantern, for example.
Let's.
Classic example. We see the Guardians of the Universe from Oa, and they've existed for eons, and they take in the totality of the universe as who they protect. And how do we learn the story? We always learn it through the people from Earth who become lanterns. So we know Hal Jordan, we know Jon Stewart, we know Guy Gardner, we know their personalities, we know their failures and their successes and the people they fall in love with. So you got to have your big story and you got to have your small story. And if you're a good storyteller, you can switch between the two. Show me the macro, now show me the micro. You can do that extremely well. And we're seeing that with Discovery. Discovery is always trying to tell you the personal story inside of the giant universal story.
Right.
Sure. Well, I'm a horrible storyteller, so let's change subjects for a bit. Well, I want to talk to you about your opinions on the resolution of this particular storyline that's been kind of off and on. That is between Adira and Gray. Gray Adira stored away. She landed as a Zahian on her in the holograph, the hollow, I guess.
The hollow, they're calling it, yeah.
The hollow, yeah, and I guess tragically she has to say goodbye to Gray once again, but not before Gray shows an awesome plot device of going through radiation without getting hurt, right? Just your thoughts about this, because this was something that seemed like it was going to be a major storyline, but it kind of got put in the back burner some episodes, and then came back towards the end. I didn't know if that worked for you overall. Now you saw the whole picture. Les?
Oh, I just assume they're planting the seed for next season. They will come up. This is my assumption. I assume this is just we're letting you know that he can be visible, and now next season we will come up with science reason as to how we can make him visible forever. Here, now he's visible. And it'll be, they'll come up with spray him with magical radiation dust. And, and now you can visit him and see him all the time. If you get out a spray bottle of dilithium and poof, Gray appears. I assume that's how he'll become a character for next season.
That's the most romantic thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Right?
I know.
Well, the question is because Adira is she has the squid, right? She has the trill. I wonder if that would work.
Yeah. Well, they said that the Hollow program had recognized him. So I assume what they're going to do is run it through some Hollow program, put her in the technology can recognize him and physicalize him. So they will do that just like they did, and probably create him as a character the way they did the Hollow Doctor with Voyager.
And that's actually a great step forward, because one of the things that they did on Voyager was they created a holographic emitter that could go anywhere. And that allowed the doctor, who was the emergency medical program, that allowed him to walk around the ship and have a bit of a life. He named himself Joe. I don't know if you know that.
No, I didn't, because I didn't watch it that long.
I've gone back.
Name.
But one of the great things about where they ended up with the Doctor character in Voyager was that he met other photonic beings. He met other beings who were made out of light and thought, and became very much his own person because of that. So I'm kind of hoping that Gray gets a chance to do that. Gray is very brave, as you say. Gray walked through all that killer radiation to see what was going on, and wasn't asked to.
That's not brave. I mean, he said
it's very brave,
but he said flat out that it wouldn't affect him. How is that brave?
I think he said he didn't know if it would affect him, and wasn't he he was walking through those blue things? Flobo,
Judge of the plaintiff here, he says, "I am not corporeous," so you
corporeal.
affect him.
Corporeal. Yeah, it's not brave.
Sorry, habeas corpus is something else. Sorry, y'all, public school. Yeah. I don't think it's very brave, but hey, it was a cool gesture because you walked in pretty much slow motion like a badass. So
well,
I know it did give us time to actually. That was my comment. Just wow, what a cool coat. He had a really nice coat.
Really nice clothes.
Fashion.
Yeah, he had a good coat.
Hey, don't let us get to the end of this episode without discussing the final costumes they're wearing.
Oh yeah, that's true.
That's actually going to be next. Just a second. That's going to be right next. But give it up for Jake Johns, last week's guest of the show, Science Officer Lake. Thanks for being a part of us, and cheers. This is the season finale.
Thanks, Jake. Thanks for being here, man.
I did think that you were going to bring something up, Flobo. That so I did want to put this to you, which was I thought you were going to ask. Well, if Discovery hadn't shown up, what would happen? So,
Right.
Like, so if Discovery doesn't show up, that whole world collapses, right?
Absolutely, because the ship is unstable.
Right.
It's unstable.
So
Saru's gone.
So then what happens? Does
there's probably another burn. I mean, he'll
Yeah.
probably lose his crap again, cause another burn. So whatever dilithium is left is then destroyed.
That's what I mean.
Okay,
There's
fair,
that
but it gets kind of lame if like the burn becomes a burn, like another one. Oh man, tell that kid to pipe down.
one of the burns.
Give him
Well,
some,
and then dilithium just pretty much becomes fireworks.
Yeah, right.
Like, well, we
exactly.
can't use it for fuel anymore, but let's just put it out in front of the house, and next time he throws a fit, we'll have a nice explosion.
Speaking of that, though, it was kind of convenient that the dilithium was like, oh yeah, we have all the stuff we can mine now. It's all stabilized. Hot dang.
Yeah, I know. And problem solved.
And very interestingly, now the Discovery is a cargo ship.
Yeah, I know.
Delivering dilithium
Yeah.
throughout the universe. There's a good way of doing that, and I'm pretty sure that's the direction they're heading, which will be now it'll be like a 5-year mission. Like what's their major mission? Got to deliver some dilithium to grandma over on the other side of the woods. But oh no, a big bad wolf.
Yeah.
Oh man, the thing of the delivery fees, Postmates. Joshua Postel, who's a friend of the show, says, "What a finale!" I actually agree. It was an hour long, one of the longest ones of the year. So either you loved it or hated it. It definitely was a wow.
Yeah.
It was. It looked fantastic. We got the Emerald Chain resolution that they'd been teasing.
Ish, but I don't think
murder.
Yeah, I don't think that's a resolution though.
No, they said the chain collapsed. There is no chain without Osira. They did say that.
Really?
Yeah.
She is a snake's head. But I got
I thought she was she was called a minister. I never thought she was like the head.
Their major existence, the chain, is doling out dilithium. So there's pretty much no dilithium now.
Right, yeah.
As far as the chain's concerned.
Right.
So if you wanted dilithium, and Osira she didn't know that there was a lot of dilithium within the reach of Starfleet. So when she was joining with Starfleet, it was because they didn't have dilithium. Right?
You mean prior to her knowing that book? No way to dilithium.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Basically, Osira was a drug dealer, and then the government decided to legalize weed, and then she's out of business. That's kind of how it happened there.
Just explaining it to regular folk.
You know how it is. Those multicolored minorities have no power now because no, I'm just kidding. Cut.
Why is it got to be green?
No, because she is, bro. I mean. Green Karen. No, so the deal is, with that now, I got to feel that next season, the remnants of the chain may reform into something else. But I think the chain itself is pretty much over with. But if the chain does come back, for every reason, they'll have to deal with Captain Michael Burnham?
Yeah,
Question mark. It's official, new uniforms and everything. Captain, what's up?
I was never one of those people who felt that she had to be captain.
Agreed.
And I didn't feel that way on Deep Space Nine when Avery Brooks was saying, "Look, man, why do I have to be a commander for all this time? Why can't I be a captain too?" And it happened, like they were in a war. Somebody had to be in command of ships and step up and be a wartime captain. And so they made Sisko a captain. But yeah, I didn't feel that was missing from her story. And as I've said in previous episodes of Commander's Log here, I felt one of the constant themes of Discovery, especially this season, was that captains don't know everything and they make mistakes all the time. And you don't solve things just by being a captain. Also, it was kind of like a punishment to Tilly.
I know.
And kind of like a punishment to Saru. Like, well, now you've got to be this, crazy guy's daddy. Like,
I feel like that one. That sounds like a Maury Povich punishment, but okay.
There's like you are the father.
I guess. It
doing
got
the
you, son.
dance. Will Morey. No, the thing is, I don't know that we needed that. It feels extra, and it feels kind of like, well, we weren't sure if the show was ever going to continue, so we just had to make her a captain now. And I guess, and I agree with you, Jake.
Yep.
Those uniforms are, woo.
Yeah, they're terrible. Yeah, they look like they are. I mean, my first reaction was, wow, they look like Burger King uniforms. They are terrible.
Can I take your order?
They just, yeah, exactly.
We both worked for Burger King in high school,
yeah,
too.
That was my high school job.
We know those Dacron suits from the inside out.
No, they look like cheap-ass material. They're awful.
Here's a question, though, but why? I feel like Discovery's uniforms are very utilitarian, for work of their time.
Yes.
But these just seem like thicker, or is it just the color scheme? Like, what is missing? What is the secret sauce?
I know. They seem like they're really thick and fat and not practical in any way.
Like some bizarre felt.
Yeah.
But Saru's a babysitter. Like, well, Saru's a dad, you know?
Yeah.
Stamets is a dad. Culber's a dad. That's another weird thing. It's like Discovery dads.
Yeah.
We created all these fathers.
Well, you love redheads this season. Yeah.
Getting back. Oh, I'm sorry. Just getting back to the uniform thing. Here's my theory. I hope it bears out. These new uniforms look to me. Welcome to Burnham King. May I take your time? Would you like the lithium fries with that? Here's my theory. Hey, Leo. Here's my theory. That these were official uniforms. These are not working uniforms.
Except there they were on the bridge working.
Well, I mean, they just like, you know, they had just been commissioned. Now you guys are going to go out and be these delivery guys of dilithium.
Hello.
It does fit Planet Express. It does fit Planet Express for Futurama.
Yeah.
But I'm very hopeful that it was some sort of ceremonial thing that they're wearing these big, heavy, ridiculous new costumes, and I can't even say uniform. They just look like costumes to me. And I just hated like the color stripe to denote what department you are.
Yeah, that was the Burger King aspect.
Yeah. Basically, if you're a fan of the old uniforms, buy them now because they're going to be sold out next time season 4 comes out.
I don't know what.
Might as well. You had Burnham on the bridge, sitting her entire body on that captain's chair. Again, you mentioned part 1 of my question, but part 2 is this. Tilly looked okay. Like she was encouraging, but she wasn't quite happy. But Stamets had some side eye. Needs some built-in fuse for next season, or am I just making too much of things?
You know,
mixing it up.
It's
stir the pot.
Yeah.
It's that old. It's only delicious if you stir the pot.
Oh yeah.
It's that old Star Trek problem that we've always had, which was Gene Roddenberry felt that in Star Trek Next Generation there should be no conflict among the staff, among the crew. And almost everybody has said that was a terrible idea. It really kills drama to do that. And if you watch the first season especially, but the first 2, almost 3 seasons of Next Generation, you see how much they suffered trying to do what Gene Roddenberry wanted. And this is very much not that show.
Yeah.
They love Roddenberry, but they will have there's going to be a difficult relationship with Stamets. Although, come on, Stamets is a pretty difficult guy.
Well, they started him out difficult, then they made him easier, and now he's difficult again.
Well, they made him easier because, he became a family man, and he adopted, Adira, and now Gray, and so, he's like this sweet guy again. But yeah, because his family was on the line, and Burnham didn't let him do what he felt he needed to do. Yeah, there's going to be some real issues there. I agree with you, Josh.
No, I agree.
Serious.
Yeah, which I think is good. I mean, the thing about Stamets that if we look, across the seasons, my issue with him is I feel like this season kind of violates his character. I don't agree with the softening because he's a dad. I actually,
go on.
I think that's not. I just think they've gone too far with his softening because in the very beginning, he's established as this very prickly pear of a guy. Even though he's in a very loving and committed relationship, he loves his partner. Are they married at that time?
Well, they say partners. So
okay, so he loves his partner. He's in a loving and committed relationship, so we know he's a loving person. But at work, he's an asshole, and everybody says so. So why does he suddenly become, the hot lips Houlihan? I just feel like he violates his character in this season, where he's really super nice and understanding, and he's got a heart. And
it's
I just don't think
towards Adira, though. I mean,
was that a MASH reference?
Well, I just think it's not like who he is, but they're bringing back who he is with, as you say, the side eye. They're bringing back his. I'm not an easy person. He's not an easy person.
Well, for two things.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with you. He's a dick, and he should have stayed that way.
So, in conclusion, well, I mean, there's two things here at play, and that is Michael Burnham's in the captain's chair, and her lover, Booker, replaced him at least one time on that drive. That's two built-in conflicts, especially the fact that Booker is seeing Michael at this time. So, I mean, he may go back into that prickly zone just for the fans.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I know. And what is going to happen to Booker? Are we gonna get a whole episode of the origin of his name? Because he said that, I'm gonna have to tell you.
Dropping hits and they're spiking the football, Leslie. It was just like, by the way, for real, subtle, bro.
There's so much that was great about Booker this whole season. Just a great actor too.
Yeah, that guy's great.
But the crazy thing for me was in the very final scene when we're looking at them wearing those terrible uniforms, and he's got that great black uniform on. And I'm like, man, why did you guys go with the felt uniform, the big felt coat, when you could just look at Booker and go, I want to look like that?
Yeah.
I wore a felt jacket in my third grade play. It was awful. Didn't provide any warmth whatsoever. Sorry, I had a me moment there.
You know something? Thank you. It reminded me of the one joke I came up with looking at their uniforms, which was, it's a doorman building.
Yeah.
Right, this is
Let me get that for you.
Now that you mentioned, they're missing a hat. They're missing the cap, and they were good to go.
Yeah, right.
To the FEL Schwartz.
Have a great day. Let me get your cab.
Well, but just to wrap this segment up, was it the right call, though, to have Burnham as the captain, or was there anyone else you would have put in that position? Or they put themselves in the corner?
Isn't that really the question? Like, who's going to be the captain? Either you have to import somebody the way they've been doing, or it has to be Burnham.
It makes me so sad if we're going to lose Saru.
Exactly. Well, that's the real sadness is, are we, and it sounds like we are, because she said, shouldn't we wait for Saru to come back? Nope, we shouldn't. Nope.
You care about us losing Saru? What about Commander Nod, John? All season I complained for 11 weeks. No, I'm just kidding. You're absolutely right.
And I totally understand, because I fell for her too. Maybe not as much as you, but I do love her. Well, and she really represented one of the sweetest parts, and I guess we've seen the same with Saru. We've seen the same thing, which is someone who said, look, I've been through all this stuff, and I put my life on the line, but you know what? I got to go home, and I got to take care of some people, and I got to be a good person, and Starfleet isn't everything in my life. And that's unusual. We haven't seen a lot of that in all of the Star Treks, where somebody says, you know what, I got to go raise this kid, or I got to go get in touch with my people. Have we seen much of that?
I feel like we have, but I realize I'm hard pressed to give you examples. Sadly, I'll have to do that offline.
Fair enough, because I don't have anything on top of my head. But I know this season.
I feel like they do it in original series, but it's always with people who are guest starring.
Oh, well, I guess that makes sense.
So,
Dr. Crusher? Okay, sure. Sure, yeah, that makes sense. And I think you could also argue for, I had it, but I lost it. Oh, well, weed should not be legal.
Hello, Syra, who's now dead.
Yeah.
Speaking of the crew, though, they had their part 2, their under siege moment of trying to dislodge one of their cells. And I guess if you are a Burnham hater, you can say, well, it took the Burnham's coded message to get Tilly the idea to do it. Bah humbug. But I thought it was a cool C plot to get everyone involved. But Lieutenant Owo stepping up. Her stamina comes through. Hardcore.
Finally.
Walk me through this.
You know, how magical is that we start the season with the big, edgy question, was it the right thing to do for everyone in Discovery to go in the future? Was it the right, because they all made such a huge sacrifice and it was so dangerous. And then when they get there, they realize what a deadly dangerous universe it is now. And we see a lot of it through my girl, Detmer.
Hey.
Eye roll.
Do love my Detmer.
Why? Why is it an eye roll? Is she not cool? Is she kind of lame?
Yeah. No, I have no love for Detmer, but mainly it's that, this is a horrible thing. I just feel like they've given that actress, and I'm really sorry to criticize an actor being an actor, but I just feel like they've given her opportunities, and I don't feel she's risen to the occasion. They gave her all this PTSD stuff, and I just didn't buy it.
I see it.
Yeah, of course you did. But, it's one of these where it's in the script, and it's just because it's written on the page doesn't mean that it translated to the screen.
Crazy redhead. Totally dig it.
Yeah, well, I mean, she wasn't crazy. That's the thing. She was just drumming fingers does not a crazy person make. Just because we get a close-up of her hand gripping the console doesn't make me go, oh, wow, she's going through shit. I mean, it's not, it just wasn't there. And they gave her episode after episode of this, psychic trauma that I just didn't buy. Whereas, the other girl, his name was Owo. That girl, I feel like, she does so much with all of her scenes, and I was so thrilled they gave her something to do.
Well, she was very exciting in Terra Firma as well, where she's the security officer, and she's dangerous.
Oh, right, yeah.
And she's Giorgio's like right hand in that world, so there's an edge to her. And the Detmer story, I can still claim is important to this because as Detmer was having a hard time going through, the main person with her holding her hand is Owo.
Yeah.
Offering all of this emotional support and being beyond her own life.
Yeah. And this is
helping other people.
This is a great example of how it's the other actor who will sell the scene for you. The only thing that sells Detmer's problems is Owo's anxiety over it. She sees her and it's her face that makes me go, wait, something's wrong with Detmer. Not Detmer. And that's a problem.
Cool observation. I'm just curious, was that the problem this season, or was that a problem always with Detmer?
It's only, for me, it was only this season, because I feel like they gave them a little more to do this season, and they gave them more psychology this season.
That's true.
And I just felt like they should give more to the actress who plays Owo, because I think she's got so much. I think she should be given more to do. I think she's really interesting, and I just love her. And the girl playing Detmer, I feel like, I also know that these jobs are freaking hard. Working on these kinds of shows, they're long days. And we've been talking about Osiris accent and what the fuck is that?
Oh,
she's got this weird, like, I'm English, I'm Canadian, I'm American.
I can't understand why it would be like this. What?
Maybe the translator malfunctioned. We don't know. Jake, before we move on, Jake Giles says, Lieutenant Nielsen over Detmer. Sorry, Captain. Yikes.
Nielsen's okay. I like Nielsen.
Nielsen's okay. He didn't get much to do, but in the first episode with the killer ice, I was hoping that Bryce would have had something to do, because he, like me, is a communications officer. Maybe he might get some love, but he was pushed aside. But it's fine. There's always season 4. when it comes.
Yeah, I mean, this was always Discovery was always a story that was going to be about not being in the captain's chair and being caught in all of these issues and conflicts, on the bridge, but through the eyes of Burnham, through the eyes of one person. And so we've been allowed through 3 seasons to finally get to where Star Trek almost always goes post the original series, which is the bridge crew. Everything about the bridge crew, so important. Yeah. And they were very smart in Discovery, because you'll notice a lot of the bridge crew episodes are Jonathan Frakes directed episodes. So he's an actor who can work with other actors. If you're playing Reese, you've looked at every script that's been handed to you, and you've got 6 lines at the most.
Yeah.
And maybe they'll cut half of them or give 1 or 2 lines to someone else. You never know. So these guys have had a very hard time establishing who their characters are and where they come through. And we see, especially in this one, just jumping quickly back to Owo, we see what a team player she is. How resourceful and strong that she's got this I don't need to breathe as much as you guys power.
Put it like that. That sounds dramatic. Oh, come on.
And my very favorite part, again, I am such a big softie. My very favorite part is the sweet robot.
Oh, that's where there is.
Spear Dater is like, I helped you, and now I die.
I could probably like Short Circuit back in the day too. Johnny 5 is alive.
Actually,
turn it off. Turn it off.
Leo Genesek, if you're still watching, I know you get this reference. It's the Tin Dog from Doctor Who.
Oh,
yeah. There's the robot dog K9. Oh, Master, I'd like to help you, Master. And it's just that sweet little, R2-D2's nice too, BB-88, they're fine. But, the sweet robots.
To hell with those. But this robot, yeah. Yeah,
so,
K9.
But, there you go. There you go, Jake. You know.
Yeah, he's a wealth of information. My moment in the movie, was in the show, the episode, was when was out of oxygen. And the Dr. Mandrew said, "You must stand." And I was like, "You're right. You tell a robot, man.
I know."
I was like, "Oh my goodness!" And I poo-pooed those 23s last week. I said they look like the Great Gazoo, but hey, they came through. They didn't do too much. They helped where they could, and it was fine. Yeah.
They sacrificed themselves over and over. You saw them getting blown apart like crazy, and we all know the sphere data went into all of them, and they can be rebuilt. So it wasn't such a silly little R2-D2 kind of a, really? R2-D2 was in all the movies? That's kind of crazy. It's not quite that silly Star Wars level. But we still do have the sweet little robot showing the spirit of sacrifice, protecting the crew. The sphere data, as we've talked about through this whole season, the sphere does love the crew, and that's another kind of silly, anthropomorphic, I think is the word I'm looking for, making an object, have human qualities. But that's that kind of sweet, sentimental stuff that gets to Star Trek nerds, man, right here.
Leslie's pointing away like she doesn't have a heart. Why'd you do that? She's like, I'm over it. Was there any scene that worked for you and emotional, like it made you not tear up, but made you go, oh, that's pretty nice or beautiful or nice or sweet or smart?
There was, and I can't remember what it was because I do remember.
Was it Saru making that meal? Was it Navarre showing up and not showing up?
Was it the cooking episode?
Well, I don't know. We got everything this week. They're just, hey, look,
this
genre and that genre. It's like,
I think
Die Hard.
It probably was the Roddenberry quote at the end, which I really loved.
Yeah.
Did you read that thing, the Roddenberry quote they had at the end about the communicate? If you can communicate with just two people, that was moving to me, especially in these times. And
then during the credit sequence, they play the original Star Trek closing music.
Yeah.
But then we were mad because not mad, but we were disappointed because we thought, they should have done like pictures the way they used to with the original series. They should have done like the stills.
There's like a Klingon, then there's a castle.
And they had a green girl, because there was always a green girl.
Just to troll you guys. There'll be pictures of Burnham crying for different episodes.
No, that's right. She did a montage.
No.
Oh,
take that.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. When we see the president of the Troll Planet coming back at the end, visiting us from Schitt's Creek.
Yeah, right.
That was great. Loved that. Narvu. Navar.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Too much information this season, because when they were talking about Navar, I was like, wait, so Navar is... What's Navar again? It's the planet that the Vulcans and the Romulans share now.
Yeah.
So.
Giant party now.
Yes.
It's a club.
Oh, did it touch anyone else's heart when we saw Gray appear? Because the Hollow recognizes Gray, so they all saw Gray, and Gray is a Romulan, and just a lovely Romulan as well.
That was touching to you?
Yeah,
Gray
was
was a Romulan?
I was like, oh, Gray's here. Might as well. Because here's the thing. It's not Gray's fault. I mean, Gray is going to work, reading his lines, reading the scene. But I never bought, and it worked out, but I never bought Adira stowing away. I never bought her stowing away. Never bought her going down. I don't remember the scene in the book going like, oh, Adira, you're here. All right, mate. Like to me that felt so disingenuous, so contrived, if you will. So anything else was like, maybe I'm heartless. Maybe I'm heartless.
No, I can hear where you're coming from, because I'm not sure we got enough establishment to know anything about how people feel about Adira, or how many relationships she has with different people. Yeah, I didn't even know that Book knew her.
I'm not going to try to rewrite the story, but had it was Stamets on the ground, I can see why Adira would go, because they had those many scenes together. But her helping out Saru and Culber was like, okay.
Yeah, I know. I think there have been a couple of times we've talked about there were different moments this season where we felt they shoehorned things just because it helped to move things along with the plot. Like just having Burnham go to Trill with her, with Adira when she went. I'm going, why is Burnham going? This makes no sense. And they said, because, you're somebody who can understand what she's going through. Okay, bye.
Yeah, I'm on the call sheet. Sonequa, get to work.
It was just like, you are the star of the show. You have to go.
Right.
It wasn't really like there's a good reason in the plot. We just go. Please go.
I mean, there have been a lot of Deus Ex Machina moments. There have been a lot of, here's my reasoning, and it's really flimsy, so let's do it. Go.
Plot.
I definitely see and hear that. And a lot of times they'll do it like they'll put it in Culber. Culber will be the one who explains it, because what we establish in this season is that Culber is the heart of the crew. The heart,
beat, chorus, it's all the same, right?
Well, I mean, when you go through some stuff,
right.
then you attain this higher level of feeling and empathy and all that. And so one of the first people that they really put through the grinder was Culber, even worse than Stamets, who lost Culber. Culber had to die. Culber had to come back. Culber had to put his brain back together. He had to decide that he was going to go forward with this crazy life. And as we've discussed, Culber's an extremely good doctor, should probably be the doctor in charge, but he isn't the doctor in charge.
Yeah, which I didn't even realize until this season.
It's Pollard, isn't it?
Know.
Yeah, it's Pollard, right?
Yeah,
it's Pollard, Dr. Pollard.
He had to point it out to me. I was like, oh, whoops, because I thought always the head of medical was the one who goes on all the away teams. At least that's the tradition. But no,
Pollard's kind of like, stop asking me questions. I'm fine. Just go. I'm busy. I think they understand you more on that planet. You should go, Tracy. Before we get out of here, real quickly, I just want your opinion after 3 seasons of Star Trek. If you can scale this big bad Osira, scale of 1 to 10 as a villain, Just your thoughts about using her as the big bad this season.
I hate to say it, but I find her a tremendous disappointment.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
She's related to Margot Kidder, and Margot Kidder was never one of my favorite actors. I had a little sentimental attachment to her.
Oh my goodness, look at the face.
Everybody, John. Like that to me is like a burn. Like, oh, she wasn't really one of my favorites. Oh, well, I mean,
that for me, that's like slander. I
had no idea. Margot Kidder was so inoffensive.
You know something? Of all let's jump over to the Superman universes. Have you ever had a Lois Lane that you liked less than Margot Kidder?
I'm not a fan of Amy Adams personally.
I love Amy Adams. Yeah, no, I
mean, hey, she works. I'm a Terry Hatcher guy. That's what I grew up on. You know.
Oh, and you like Terry? You like Terry Hatcher?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've heard stories about her in real life, but as when the show came out, I was like 9. You know what I mean? I was like, hey,
right.
This is great.
Right. Yeah. I mean, anyway, getting back to Discovery, what we got with Osira was she's evil. She kills her nephew, but then when she finally invades Starfleet, she wants to make a deal. And this is a very good deal. She's really thought it through. And then, okay, but you can't be in charge. Well, then I'm mad, and I'm going to ruin everything. As a matter of fact, you should probably stand trial. How dare you? I'll throw this whole idea out. So, I mean, we had like this, she's evil, she's coming to get you. Now she's drawing you in. She wants to make a deal with you, Mr. Starfleet fan. And now she is intractable and she will not make any concessions at all. So now she's evil again. I don't know. It was a mess. It's no Giorgio from Terra Firma.
Right. Or Lorca?
Lorca. It's no Captain Lorca.
Yeah, Lorca was great.
These are really good villains.
That is the first ever captain I've ever saw in Star Trek. So the gold standard is Gabriel Lorca, if you could imagine that.
Yeah, he was great. But also, I don't think she was as interesting as her, number one bad guy. The guy from Medium.
Yeah. Jake Weber.
Jake Weber, yeah.
Oh, God, yeah.
Not the name of the character.
The one-arm man who died off an elevator.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
And wasn't that weird? That reminded me so much of is it Into Darkness with the Benedict Cumberbatch as Khan, and they're on those flying cargo thing, fighting and jumping. It was weird, man.
Yeah,
I had to stop and restart. I'm like, did they go to our planet? I had no idea where the hell they were.
It's so funny. We were watching. Her sister was in the room watching with us, and she's like, "What the hell is that?" And I'm like, "Well, I guess that's the turbo lifts." And she's like, "No, it's not. That's not how turbo lifts work."
Because in the future,
I know.
Turbo lifts don't have elevator shafts.
Yeah.
They're just boxes that fly around inside a giant hollow ship.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know. It was interesting in that, like, oh my gosh, they're showing us how this works. Oh, that's cool, I guess.
How does this make any sense?
Yeah, this is weird. I don't understand.
Yeah. And apparently, Zara died insulting a cat, which is a way to go out, right?
Oh,
she's a queen. She's a queen.
Yeah.
And that was that great, like, Bruce Willis moment of, like, beating a germ. Like, that great, like, and yet the bookend, right in the very beginning of this season, I told you she's a queen, and right at the very end, she's a queen. And there's just something awesome about a handsome black man saying someone's a queen.
Yes, I agree.
You know that, Flobo.
But
I gotta take notes. I never tried it. I'm missing out.
You got to try that, man. I've seen it really work.
For real. So,
Pop that
final
collar.
question for me and for everyone watching live. Thank you so much if you're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe, follow everyone on these social media handles. If you had to rate Star Trek Discovery Season 3 1 to 10 or 5 stars or whatever you do, how would you go about that?
What are we
your
comparing
personal
it to? Are we
Just
comparing it
this-
to the other two
your
seasons?
Personal enjoyment of this season in a bubble.
Oh, in a bubble, all on its own.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'd probably give it a 9.
9 out of 10?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would too. I mean, this is just structurally, this is a great moment for Star Trek because they got out of the TOS happens here, then TNG happens here, and then Deep Space Nine, and at the same time Voyager, but let's go back, and now Enterprise is here, and now Picard is after this, but before that. And so, we were dealing with a timeline, and they came up with a way to go, all the timeline, that's fine, everybody. It's over here, and now we're in a time where you don't know anything. You're learning everything all over again. Starfleet is not at all the same Starfleet you remember. And everything's new and everything's in jeopardy. And there's so much drama and conflict to be had. So they were very clever to move everything forward and have like a clear vista in front of them. I have no idea. I don't think any of us have any idea what season 4 could be like. And that's great. That's just good writing.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think as somebody, and I mentioned this a billion times, but it's the first time here, Star Trek Discovery is amazing because it's my first exposure for Star Trek, and I really did not like Season 2 because of the fan service, because there was this giant upswelling of making it more real Star Trek. There was just, every episode became a homework assignment, and it felt like they were trying to add more tendrils to the main continuity. So now we're over here, I was able to enjoy it. Yeah, I had to stop and be like, what's this race or what's that?
Yeah.
But it wasn't as bad as Season 2 where it's like, you have to realize that Talos 4 is a big deal because, hold on, pause. Oh, okay. It was just a pain in the butt. So,
Right.
For me, I would say it's like an 8 for me. If last season was a 6 for me. I did think it was an upswing in my case here. Jake says he gives it a 4 out of 5. So, they're on the same
4 out of 5. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. I mean, there's still room to improve. Still ways to get better here.
More
But
Linus, of course. Yeah.
where was Linus? Linus was listed in the credits for this episode, and me, I gotta have my Linus. Where was he? I'm gonna have to watch this episode again, like scan the background, see if Linus is back.
I'm changing my score, guys. Until I see Linus. Leslie, John, this season has been a pleasure doing Commander's Log. First time doing an after show for Star Trek, and you've made it fun. You put up with him making it fun. I appreciate you. But if you guys could tell the world where they can find you, stalk you, business inquiries, where they can scope you online, that'd be great.
Do you wanna...
Nah.
Okay.
I just sit here.
Don't follow.
Hit me up on Twitter. Hello, at Hello John Weber. Having a lot of fun on Twitter. Always glad to see you over there. Also on Instagram at Hello John Weber.
Oh, you're checking in on Instagram now.
Yeah, a little.
You got like 25 gimmicks, man. It's crazy.
That's true too.
Affable Boys on Twitter and Instagram, Afflobito on Instagram, flobito.com, and newamsterdam.com, KAW Amsterdam.com. This is goodbye for now, but we got some more stuff happening over in the Hello John Weber Network.
That's right.
Determined. I'll keep you guys in the loop. Captain, take us out.
You're a great damn crew. Thanks for being with us on this journey. If you got to go take care of a giant man baby named Sukkot, go do it. But come back. We'll talk to you soon. Live long and prosper.
Gotta fly.